I'm going to walk through the video of the luxury pergola being assembled and talk through some of the major key steps and some of the things that we do in terms of how it's built that make it a lot easier to install for someone like yourself. First thing we're going to note is as you look at the video start here, you're going to see that I'm slipping the post into a post base. That post base is used for lateral wind load resistance. And then when you lag it to the concrete with wedge anchors, you've got essentially a very sturdy object that isn't going to move or change its position. And that's a good base to start from. So that post base is integral to what we do. The next thing you're going to see here in terms of design is going to be the way our corners are set up. So that piece that's falling in is essentially the way that my post joins to my beams and my beams join my beams, and it allows for a cavity for my gutters to set in there so that you've got a lot of play. The thing about contracting and building in general is, especially if you're selling to someone who hasn't installed before, you want to give a lot of tolerance. You never know what's going to happen. You might have a piece that's cut just slightly off. You may have a house that's slightly off square. You may have a lot of different things in construction that happen, and you want to allow people to have the tolerance to be able to fix those problems. And that's how we design this system. The fact that the beam just drops down and you put 4 screws in it allows you to put this together in a really modular sense. You can put those posts up and put all of the beams on while also making the whole unit square in a really short time frame. And then you put your sleeves on and it looks pretty already. Plus the fact that it's already built in with the gutter joint, you can immediately drop your gutters in, attach them to the unit, and then start throwing your louvers in. And the reason why we designed it that way is from experience. I personally have installed probably anywhere between 60 and 100 louvered systems, whether it's ours or some other competitor. I've seen a lot of different things, and I've tried a lot of different things to speed up the installation. The problem being that you're limited based on the parts that you have. And so that corner part right there is integral to how ours is a lot easier to install. And you could probably put it up with very little experience in about a day. After you have those gutters put in, you do have to put a sealant along the top of those gutters, and obviously we ship that as well. And then you just start dropping your louvers in. Once your louvers are dropped in, you put a retainer strip on them, and that allows you to basically keep the louvers from blowing out of those U-channels. If you don't put those retainers on, you're gonna have a very, very uncomfortable situation with those louvers blowing out. The next thing you're going to do is put the link bar on, put the push nuts on, and then you're going to hook up the motor. Now I don't go through hookup of the motor on this video itself because it's a lot more involved and it's a lot easier to talk through in person. So I'll do a video of that later. Once that's hooked up, then you're good to go. You just press open, the whole thing opens, and you're done. So while we say it can take 2 people a day, it could realistically take a lot less time than that. It just depends on what your overall comfort level is. And so we want to be conservative with what we think it will actually take. That's pretty much just how it's built. It's very simple, and it's built to be simple. The more complicated you make a product, then the more you've introduced options or ways for it to fail or have difficulty. So we wanted to keep it simple, and that way you had a very well-built product that is going to stand the test of time without having to futz with a lot of different small things. This doesn't show it, we also have trim packages as well. If you go to theluxurypergola.com, you'll see the different ways you can configure these systems in size, color, and trim options to get an idea of what is available. So please do that. And if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Love to answer, love to see all your questions. People have a lot of good ones. I'll see you in the next one.